Welcome, everyone, to the very first episode of the Triple Play podcast here with myself and my co-host, Adam. I'm Kevin, and we will be taking you through our thoughts and opinions, which are probably better than yours, if we're being honest about it, on various topics throughout the world, mostly revolving around sports, video games, and movies. That's how we came up with the Triple Play podcast name. Adam, if you want to say a little something about yourself there, guy?
Hey, I'm Adam.
Oh,
yeah, that's it.
Adam and I both did our undergraduate work at Texas Christian University. We lived together for far too long, so we're taking time apart as we delve into our own careers, but we're doing this podcast mostly because I kept pushing Adam for like 3 years. Would you say 3 years, or maybe even more?
I think like junior year of college was when you started bugging me about it. So almost 4 years at this point.
Yeah, almost 4 years. I've been wanting to do this. I think it was, I don't know, it was probably one of the classes that we had together where we were talking about podcasting and something like that. And I was like, that sounds awesome. Let's do that. And so we spent the first year spitballing what we would talk about and trying to come up with a name, I think. And Adam claims credit for the name.
I do.
I don't necessarily believe it was his idea.
No, it was absolutely my idea,
But yeah, so Triple Play, obviously, things that you play, sports, movies, video games. And I think we will occasionally dive into other topics, so like music in that aspect. And anything else that kind of tickles our fancy or seems worth talking about. So, might as well get started right away. We'll dive right into the sports section, I guess we can call it, if we want to do it in sections. We can talk about TCU footballs. Adam, give us a rundown of your thoughts on TCU football so far this season.
Over the season? Pretty disappointing.
Over the season, and we can talk a little bit more in depth about this week.
Pretty disappointing, not gonna lie. I didn't have super high expectations going into the season just because, brand new quarterback, a lot of young guys on both sides of the ball. You lose Ross Blacklock before the season even starts, and that's obviously gonna be huge. But to be, what are we, 4-5 now at this point of the season? I can't say that.
Is it 4-5 or 4-4?
I think we're 4-5. Right,
yeah,
lost to Ohio State, Texas, Oklahoma, Texas Tech, and Kansas.
We went to 2-2, then we won, then we lost 3 in a row. So yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, 4-5, and we're probably not bowling this season.
It seems very unlikely given our remaining schedule.
We have 3 games left, right? And it's the Pokes, West Virginia, and Baylor.
Yeah, I believe it's at West Virginia, at Baylor, Oklahoma State at home. So we have to.
We might be lucky to win one of those games.
We have to take 2 out of the 3. I don't see that happening. Not with the way, with the offense continuing to cough up the ball every chance it gets, and the defense.
And the defense can't figure it out.
Yeah, they have struggled, which I think is the most.
Kansas State, but they gave up 27 to Kansas.
Yeah, Kansas State has been arguably the worst offense in the Big 12 all year long. So, holding them to 13 is really nothing to write home about. And for sure, the defense was supposed to be the strong suit coming into the season. And time again, they've demonstrated that they, like the offense, just there's something not clicking.
Yeah, I don't remember. I think I might have been talking about it with one of our friends. And I feel like the issue, usually, there's, an overarching issue. So, our sophomore year when we were bad, you could kind of see where the problems were. You had really young, not an actual quarterback, Trayvon Boykin, in at quarterback for most of the season, with not a whole ton of weaponry around him. And so you kind of saw where the problems were, and you saw, all right, this is probably going to get fixed at least to a decent level. But I think the problem that I've noticed with this team is they seem to lack discipline. There's a lot of dumb penalties that are going on both sides of the ball. They're not holding on to the ball like you mentioned, and there's got to be at least 3 blown coverages a game at this point we're running with.
Yeah, a lot of mental errors, a lot of avoidable mistakes. I think the line on both sides of the ball, the offensive and defensive line, are a little undersized. They've kind of been getting bullied around by teams all season,
Mm,
which is a shame because I think the skill position players can go toe to toe with anybody in the country, and so it's
absolutely.
disappointing to have them hampered by the mediocre play of everybody else around them.
Yeah, that was a big like a lot of people I think were rightly kind of complaining about Sean Robinson. But you would like look at replays and he would drop back after getting the snap, and within a second and a half, the offensive line had basically collapsed in front of him. So he's got no time to set his feet and like actually make his reads. Um, but then on the flip of that, I think Michael Collins has done a pretty darn good job stepping in.
He's been
I
decent. He's been better than I expected. I mean, still couldn't get the win against Kansas, so I mean, how much credit can you give a guy? But
Right. I mean, I would not necessarily put it all on him. I mean, he did manage to put up 26 points, a feat that Sean Robinson had not been able to do since the Ohio State game. The defense just like collapsed and went. They might as well have not have been out there in the second half of that game. But it was promising to actually see the ball get moved. And God bless Jalen Rager. That kid is something special. And if we didn't have him, this team would not be worth watching at all right now.
oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think more and more this season is. I think it's scarily similar to that our sophomore year, that 2013 season where you have Casey Paul get hurt earlier in the season. We lost Sean Robinson for the season,
Mm-hmm.
and had to have a backup come in, start for the first time. Defense had been solid at times, but not good enough to get it done. Just sort of
Yeah.
a lack of size and presence on the offense, and yeah, that's
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, although I mean, when we had Casey Paul Hall, we actually like had glimmers of hope. With Sean Robinson, there wasn't much of a glimmer. I mean, he had one good game, and that was against what Southern. That's their only name is just Southern.
I think he
Beyond that,
played
he never really did
he
too
played
much.
decently in the Ohio State game, which again drawing flashbacks of Casey Paul in that LSU game in 2013. Um,
Did Casey played that game?
he did. I remember
Was
because
that when he broke his arm?
no, he broke his arm. I think the game after the LSU game. I remember him
Okay.
tossing passes to Trevon Boykin in that game.
Okay. All right. But yeah, so yeah, it's kind of similar. Apparently, when we play SEC teams, our quarterbacks break. Who knew? Except Kenny. Kenny did well following Arkansas games. So it's a weird thing. And you were right, Adam. Where the Frogs are heading out to West Virginia this Saturday. I think it was this Saturday. Their next game, at least, is in West Virginia, and it's probably going to be a bloodbath. And I may not actually watch it.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I'll watch just because I always watch, but yeah, we'll see. I may have to change it to something a little more bearable
Yeah, it'll
for all the said and
it'll be
done.
something that Will Greer guy is. He's pretty darn good.
So he's gonna throw for at least 400 yards and 4 touchdowns
Yep.
against our secondary at minimum.
Maybe by halftime. But I think Will Greer is being unfairly underrecognized in the national media spotlight.
I would agree.
Like on Twitter, you see all these polls like, who do you think should be the Heisman? And it's like, it's Tua from Alabama, obviously, Dwayne Haskins out of Ohio State, Kyler Murray, who is fantastic, don't get me wrong, and then the fourth name is always changing, but I think Will Greer needs to be up there. I mean,
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and part of
he's real
that,
good.
I think part of that is he's not playing for a blue chip program in West Virginia. I mean,
Yeah.
West Virginia has decent name recognition, but when you compare that to guys from Alabama, Ohio State, Oklahoma, like you were saying,
Yeah. I mean, he's at the flagship university in West Virginia, which, I mean, it's West Virginia. And they have a neat song about them, but, I mean, beyond that, I mean, Could you name like 3 facts about the state of West Virginia besides that it's named West Virginia?
It is west of Virginia. Um,
Mm.
they
Or is
like
it
to
just Western
think
Virginia?
that they're part of the Confederacy, even though they weren't.
It's true. That's the whole reason they became a state. But history is overrated.
I have very vivid memories of being on a bus driving through West Virginia. I can't remember where we're going. Oh, I think probably D.C. And stopping at a gas station and seeing Confederate flags all over the place. I'm like, do you guys not know? I was like, should I tell someone?
No, it might be one of those situations where ignorance is bliss, and we'll just let them be. They don't really bother anyone,
No.
do they?
No,
Yeah, it's just,
I don't think
they're
so.
just there. It's kind of like Idaho. Idaho's just there.
It is just, hey, they gave us potatoes.
You're right, but I mean, you get potatoes other places, right?
Yeah, but not
That
Idaho.
speaks to the hostility of the hostility of the environment of Idaho. That the only thing they can produce is a potato, because you can grow a potato anywhere. So, well, we've had this problem before of going off on tangents. We don't need to go on an Idaho tangent.
I'll hold off on my potato rant. We'll save it for another day.
All right, another episode. Anything else you want to talk about with TCU football?
Let's hope Justin Rogers is the way, the truth, the light next season, and
Yeah.
I'm ready for basketball.
Yeah, we're a basketball school now. That's wild.
Yeah,
I think.
I mean, it's natural that we would lose to Kansas in football when we're obviously a basketball school.
Yeah, so this means we're gonna beat them in basketball. at least
Oh,
once.
obviously, that's a guaranteed
Yeah.
Final Four.
I mean, we have done it, and last year we played them tight. And was it 2 years ago? We beat them in the Big 12 tournament, right?
Yeah, I can't remember if that was. Yeah, was that 2 seasons ago? Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, because I came down to KC for when we played Texas Tech, and then I was on my way back to Illinois, listening to the game. I actually went into work for like 3 hours, did zero work, watched the game. So yeah, I remember that. That was wild. And then we lost to Iowa State back when they were still good at basketball. And you could kind of feel that one coming. They were like, well, emotionally just drained because like they just played their hearts out to beat Kansas. Now they got to play again tomorrow. But yeah. So TCU sports will always be a topic of conversation here. I think even during the summers. Ideally, we're still doing this in the summer. We'll still be talking in some capacity about TCU sports. But it is Sunday when we're recording this. Not entirely sure when it's going to go out, but we can talk NFL football. The Bears are officially back. They're more back than Texas. I'm not saying the Bears are going to win the Super Bowl this year, but they're not. The Rams are going to win the Super Bowl. But I think they're a playoff team, and that defense is just nasty.
I think without a doubt they're a playoff team. I mean, Khalil Mack looks great. John Gruden, I think,
He hasn't even played the past 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, well, he up to that point, and he had been dominant. Obviously, Trubisky's looked pretty good. Solid
the
across
time
the
God is
board.
real.
Matt Nagy's doing good things.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so happy that Matt Nagy.
Potato.
All right. Well, I'm so happy he's here. I think him being a new head coach, having a relatively new quarterback, I think he instilled a lot of confidence in Mitch, and I think they made their playbook fit Mitch's style, and you see it really take off because, like, Mitch and Pat Mahomes are like they have the most I think the most touchdowns on the season. I mean, with Mitch putting up those 6 touchdowns against.
I don't know how many Trubisky has. Mahomes to this point has 29.
29, right?
29 through 9 games.
That's nuts. In 9 games?
Yep, 9 games.
That's stupid. So that puts him on pace for like 53 or something, right?
Yeah, as of right now, to this point of the season, I think he's thrown the 3rd most touchdown passes to this point of the season in NFL history, only behind
Yeah.
Brady in '07 and Manning in, I think, 2013. So pretty good company.
All right. Well, Mitchell is not anywhere near Pat Mahomes in touchdowns. He's thrown 16 touchdowns.
That's still not bad. That's two a
I think
game.
he may not have thrown 16 touchdowns last year, the whole season. So he's really improved. He's done well. So I'm happy with the way the Bears are trending. I mean, there aren't right now. I mean, there just aren't a ton of like glaring weak spots in the Bears. I mean, I'm always looking for them to improve their secondary and their offensive line are the two spots I think they always need the most help. And they could use a genuine wide receiver one. I mean, if you're not a Bears fan, do you even know who Taylor Gabriel is?
I have heard the name because I play fantasy football.
Yeah, see, that's it. I mean, they have Allen Robinson, but he's hurt, and even when he wasn't hurt, he really wasn't like putting up numbers like you might have thought he would have. So, but beyond that, pretty happy with how the Bears are going. Sitting, what does that make them? Is that 4-4 for him? I should know that. I claim to be a fan. But they're sitting pretty. A lot of conference play coming up now, and the Lions are definitely going to be beaten. The Vikings are a beatable team, and all the teams we can definitely beat. We should have beat the Packers week 1, but Aaron Rodgers is actually Jesus, so that didn't help anyone. 5-3. Bears are 5-3. There you go. So I didn't think I would see them with a winning record this soon, after being so perpetually disappointed the past 3 years. We did mention Pat Mahomes, and the Kansas City Chiefs are an absolute load on offense.
They are. They're pretty tough to contain. Today against the Browns, they scored on their first, what was it? I think it was their first 6 possessions. They scored on every single one. And then the last 2, they just ran out the clock.
That's ridiculous. I don't know what it is. I mean, it's the skill players. They're so good.
It's
Tyreek Hill stretches the defense. Travis Kelce. I think it's fair to say that Travis Kelce, while he doesn't have the high ceiling of Gronk, I think he's better than Gronk because he doesn't miss games and he always produces.
He does. And, this has been a contentious area of discussion in Kansas City for 4 or 5 years at this point, the Kelce-Gronk debate. Naturally, I'm a Kansas City homer, so I'm going to lean toward Kelce in that argument for the reasons you mentioned, because Gronk, when was the last time Gronk played a full season? I can't even remember.
Yeah, I don't know.
And people usually cite, obviously Kelce is faster than Gronk. I think they're pretty even in terms of hands and catching ability. People usually cite blocking as an area where Gronk really holds a big edge over Kelce, but according to, I was looking, Pro Football Focus had Kelce rated higher in both pass blocking and run blocking than Gronk to this point of the season.
Right, so we'll have to check what Madden says in order to really know.
That's the only ranking that matters, is their Madden rankings.
Absolutely. But yeah, I mean, I think they've both been in the league for a pretty long time, so I mean it's not like a small sample size. So I think if I had to pick a tight end, I would probably pick Travis. I mean, Gronk can go up and make some incredible plays, but I mean Travis is he's just so good. He doesn't have to make incredible plays, I think, because he's just.
I mean, he makes his share of great catches. I don't want to undersell him in that category, but yeah, and obviously, health is everything.
Yeah, and that's a big part.
If you're not on the field, you can't make
Travis
a difference.
Kelce will be in the game. So, and then just the rest of the skill players are nuts. If you guys had a defense, you guys would be really, really good. I mean, you guys are really, really good, but you'd be even better if you had anything that resembled a defense.
Here's the thing with the defense. I don't think they're as bad as the numbers would suggest. the pass rush is solid. D Ford has been a monster all year. He has something like, I want to say, 9 sacks and 5 forced fumbles. And I think he leads the NFL in pressures, or he's at the very least top 3. So he's been great all season. Justin Houston has been hurt. When he comes back, that's going to just add even more to the pass rush. Chris Jones on the inside has played very well
all season.
He's missed only the last 3 games. He got hurt in the Patriots game.
Okay.
And Eric Berry is another name who, as soon as he comes back, is going to do wonders and make the defense so much better. Because that's
true.
Safety and middle linebacker is really where that defense has struggled and has been gashed. They're giving up a ton of yards to running backs, both on the ground and through the air, because their linebackers can't cover out of the backfield, which is,
right.
That's usually a middle linebacker or a safety assignment is on the running back. And so I think Eric Berry will definitely help out in that area.
Yeah, speaking of getting gashed by running backs, I was sitting here with Duke Johnson Jr. on my bench in one of my fantasy leagues. He had like 25 points. I was so upset. I still won in that league, but I was very upset.
Yeah, pro tip, whatever running back is playing the Chiefs, always start that running back.
Until Eric Berry comes back. All right, fair enough. Yeah, so I think it's exciting. I think we might see both of our teams in the playoffs this year, which is a shock considering how bad the Bears have been these past couple of years. Not a shock for the Chiefs.
The Chiefs have been a perennial playoff team, but it's the city of misery. It's the horrible playoff collapses that have sort of haunted this fan base for such a long time.
While I was watching the Chiefs game, I was watching with one of our friends. I was watching with Bernie, and he asked me during the game, so in what way do you think the Chiefs are going to break Adam's heart this year? So Adam, how do you think the Chiefs are going to break your heart this year?
I hope they don't. I hope that the Pat Mahomes Chiefs are different, but there's still that little voice in the back of my mind that says they're gonna blow a big lead against the Patriots or the Steelers or something in the divisional round or the AFC Championship game, and it's gonna be terrible. Because I think right now, with how they played and especially how Mahomes and the offense are clicking, it's AFC Championship or bust at this point.
I think that's fair.
Obviously, Super Bowl
loser gets steamrolled by the Rams.
Yep. Well, hey, the Rams.
Winner of that game gets steamrolled by the Rams.
The Rams are beatable. They lost today for the first time.
Yeah, you're right. They are beatable.
They got creamed by a good offense in the Saints, and that's exactly what the Chiefs have. So I don't know. We'll see.
It was interesting seeing them kind of get played that bad by the Saints. I think part of it is Drew Brees. Drew Brees is Drew Brees, and he is one of those top 3 quarterbacks in the league with Rodgers and Brady. But I think that game is a bit of an anomaly. I think as far as them getting gashed that badly. I mean, they've been gashed before.
I don't know. I think their secondary has looked kind of suspect. I think Marcus Peters has not performed the way that they expected him to perform. He's been getting burned a lot this season.
He almost made a circus catch interception, though.
That's true. That's the kind of player he is and has been. But it just always high highs and low lows. But this season it seems like even more extreme and even more lows.
Well, I think the secret to beating the Rams is having that high caliber offense, but making sure you have a quarterback that gets rid of the ball. Like, they couldn't get pressured on Drew Brees because he gets rid of the ball so fast. So if you have a quarterback who holds on for just like a little bit too long, then he gets murdered by Aaron Donald.
I mean, you could say that about any NFL team. If you have a quarterback that just sits back in the pocket all day, you're going to get creamed against NFL caliber pass rushers.
Right.
But I take your point.
There's a difference, I think, between that average NFL release speed versus how quickly someone like Drew Brees gets rid of the football. So that makes a difference, I think.
And we'll be able to see that matchup again, that high-powered offense against the Rams, in 2 weeks when the Chiefs and the Rams meet each other in Mexico City. I'm very excited for that
Oh,
game
that's right. That'll be a fun
on
game.
Monday Night Football.
We might see 1,000 points scored.
As long as the Chiefs score 501, I'll be okay with that.
Fair enough. And so long as Todd Gurley gets the rest of them.
That's again perfectly fine with me.
Oh,
I'm a
right.
very proud Gurley fantasy father.
Right? He only got like 15 points this week, and I was so disappointed. It's like, what do you mean you only got 15? You only scored 1 touchdown? You scrub.
Yeah, I think it says a lot about a player when they can put up, in that 15 to 19 point range, and you're absolutely devastated as a fantasy owner.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're relying on him for 30. But, yeah. I think that's enough football.
That was 25 minutes on sports.
Yeah. So we're gonna do an awesome segue right here. This is an awesome segue into video games. So there were the 2 major releases in October. I would say the 2 major releases. I'm sure there are plenty more games that actually came out. I guess Black Ops 4 also came out, but I don't play those games.
Yeah, Call of Duty hasn't been relevant
Odyssey.
since.
Yeah, Assassin's Creed and Red Dead Redemption. Since what?
I said Call of Duty hasn't been relevant since Modern Warfare, in my opinion. But continue.
That's fair. I mean, it's the same damn game every single time, just with like, hey, look, this gun's a different color.
Yeah, they're milking that cash cow as long as they can.
Yeah, and it works. But since Assassin's Creed came out at the start of October, we could talk about that one. Adam, have you finished the main story for Assassin's Creed?
I have not. I got distracted by Red Dead, which I think we'll talk about here in a little bit.
Completely understandable. So I guess we'll do our best not to talk spoilers for any of these games. Not that I'm far enough in Red Dead to talk spoilers, but I did complete the main storyline for Assassin's Creed, and I did hunt down all the assassination targets. So
yeah, well, I have just found.
But yeah, it's
Alexios' mother. That's where I am.
They're both gigantic games.
They are.
Assassin's Creed is gorgeous. It's no longer like, it's still with the name Assassin's Creed, and you still assassinate, but it's no longer kind of in like how Assassin's Creed got its start, right, with Altair and Ezio.
Yeah, it really seems like you could slap a different name.
You were supposed to take the stealthy approach, and it wasn't an open world per se. Like, you could kind of free roam about the area, but you just kind of went mission to mission. And now it's an action RPG where they focus real heavily on the combat. Adam, what's going on with your phone over there?
Oh, sorry, I was rubbing it against my face. That's not gonna show up on the actual audio.
Okay. I just heard a bunch of like scratching on my.
Yeah, that was my beard against the speaker.
Okay. But yeah, I appreciated Assassin's Creed's effort to make like a bunch of different like ways, especially like with melee combat, but beyond like 3 of the weapon styles, I mean, they're not very useful. Like the heavy bladed, like the axes and the maces are just like way too slow. Swords and daggers, obviously, you're fine. Daggers, when you get used to using a sword and you start using daggers, you end up missing a lot at the start because you're like, oh, I am apparently not in range of hitting this guy. So that's the thing. I did have a lot of fun actually using staves.
I don't think I have ever used a staff. It was like blunt force weapons. What am I?
I'm gonna hit you with a stick and you're gonna die from it. It was actually kind of fun. And spears were all right. I didn't like the actual melee animation for using spears, but they were all right.
They're useful in
animals.
Yeah, they're useful in certain situations. When you need to keep an enemy at a distance, or when you're fighting multiple enemies at the same time, they have their uses. But for sure, yeah. I think swords and daggers top the list by far.
Yep. Like I said, the game absolutely massive. They're even like parts of it, like actual islands where like you can do like the conquest battles where like there's no mission that brings you there. You just kind of have to go and like find stuff.
Yeah, I sort of just there was one island in like the southeastern portion of the map that I just sort of accidentally landed on one day. I was just sort of exploring, and when I got there, it triggered this giant side quest where you have to liberate that island from like its oppressive ruler, and you lead an entire rebellion. And like not part of the main story at all. I'm like, this is a really in
Yeah,
depth
yes,
for a
I
side
know
quest.
exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, and there's like shipwreck Spartans and whatnot. Yep, I know exactly what part you're talking about. Uh, you can nail that chick in the game.
You can indeed.
But then you have to kill someone if you do. So keep that in mind.
Oh,
Did
he's already
that,
dead.
Did you complete that part?
I
That
did.
like, side. Okay, so you know that you killed the Spartan guy. I guess that's not really a spoiler.
I mean, it's a side quest, so
Surprise!
it's
The guy gets
debatable.
mad at you because you have sex with the girl he loves.
I mean, it's Assassins. A lot of people are gonna die. I don't think that's a spoiler.
Yeah, yeah. It doesn't change anything about the game, and then you just like lie to her about it. She's like, oh yeah, he's gone, and she's like, oh, he must have taken off already. Whatever. So, but it's a fun game. The actual like ship part I thought was really well done.
I very much enjoy
One thing
ship
is-
combat.
Yeah, the one thing though is like your ship is an absolute tank. Like I like on average it's like 4-on-1 and I just like shred through the other ships. It's like not fair. So but it's a fun game. So do recommend you go play it if you haven't played it. Now we can talk about a little bit of Red Dead Redemption. I actually have it up on my TV right now. I was in the middle of playing and then paused it to do this podcast. So it's I like it so far. It's very easy to get distracted in this game.
It is, like Assassin's Creed, massive open world, a ton of things to do all around the map. Very easy to get distracted, obviously, and go galloping off into the distance to see what there is to see. I have very much enjoyed Red Dead 2. I would say, to this point, even more so than Assassins. If I gave Odyssey, I'd probably give Odyssey like an 8.5 out of 10, and I would give Red Dead at this point probably a 9 or a 9.5 out of 10.
Yeah.
It's
How far are you? Like I think I checked and it said I was like 12% through.
I have just started Chapter 3.
Chapter 3.
Chapter 3.
Okay.
So
yeah,
Chapter
I'm still
2
in Chapter 2.
Chapter 2 is incredibly long. I think it might be the
I
longest
realize
chapter.
I actually just did a little side mission. Like one of the girls in the camp was like, "Oh, we saw this thing. You can go like rob this person." I was like, "Oh, all right, let's go rob this person." Yeah, I got like $60 and a gun, and I have like $120 bounty on me now.
Yep. It's not always worth it to be the bad guy. It's actually a lot of times more beneficial to be the good guy and to be friendly to people.
Yeah, well, I usually am, but I mean, it was illegal activities that I robbed, and I even had my bandana on, but apparently that does not fool lawmen.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the purpose of the bandana actually is.
Morgan, even with the bandana, you're like, ah, motherfucker.
Yeah, it really seems like the bandana doesn't serve any actual purpose because you still end up with the bounty regardless of whether or not you have it on.
Well, I think it fools civilians. So like, if you're wearing the bandana and a civilian sees you do a crime, they won't be able to report it because they don't know who you are, per se. But like, if you have actual like cops, or lawmen, I guess in this case, like they're not fooled by it, so they just like see it. So if a lawman sees you commit the crime, you get the bounty. But if a civilian sees it and you're wearing the mask, they can't say anything really. So, but yeah, so it's good. I'm trying to figure like the controls. I think are a little weird.
They are a little wonky.
Like the wheels, like the menu wheels, because you have to like select what you want and then release the left L1, and that's how you like pull out items. But felt to me like counterintuitive, because like if you're not still holding the right stick over to it, then it like doesn't actually select it. So I was like, what's going on?
Yeah, and the button to talk to people is the same button to aim your gun. So I have very often accidentally pointed my gun at civilians when I'm just trying to say hey to them.
Yeah.
I've accidentally punched a couple people. It takes a little while to get fully integrated into the system, for sure. That would probably be my biggest drawback of the game so far, is the sort of wonky mechanics and probably just the general pace of the game. It's very slow paced, especially getting started. It takes a while to get into it, but other than that,
that's definitely true. The one thing about it that I don't think was adequately explained is like getting better horses. Like, I don't think it adequately explained like how to tell if the stats on a horse are better than the one you have.
You have to examine it.
I know to examine it, but like it doesn't. I don't think it does a good job of explaining like this is like these are its maxes, and then like it tells you what your horse's maxes are, thing like that.
Okay, so from what I understand, every horse has a base, right? Base speed, base acceleration, base health, and base stamina. I think the health and stamina of the horse increase as you bond with it.
Right.
And I think
and the bond goes up to like
up to 2 levels.
4 is the maximum bond.
Yeah, for level 4 bond is the maximum level. And I think both those stats increase up to 2 levels, depending on how closely you've bonded with the horse. The speed and acceleration, I believe, can only be improved through gear, so saddles and stirrups.
Okay.
And I think stirrups in particular.
Also, just like doing stuff, like increases it. So like with Arthur, like headshots increase like your maximum deadeye capacity.
Mm-hmm.
And doing things and like running and doing stuff will eventually increase your maximum stamina capacity. So I think that's also part of how you increase it with horses. I'm not entirely sure, but I like that they kind of like they make you keep track of the horse. So we talked about this earlier. They make you keep track of your horse. Like if he's too far away, like you just lost your guns. So it's definitely they put a lot of effort into the realism and detail of this game, so it's really good. The one thing I didn't like on like your first or second trip into Valentine for one of the missions at the start of the game, you're like trading in a horse, right? There's like I think it's the same for everyone. I don't know about, but mine was like an absolute unit. This like giant black horse, right?
Mm-hmm. The horse you the horse? Oh yeah, the horse you were trading in. Yeah, the big one, the big black one.
So I trade in this horse, but then the only one I can afford after that is like this tiny little horse. And I was like, man, I wish I would have just kept the big
the little $15 horse. I actually ended up because I pre-ordered the game. I said I ended up because I pre-ordered the game. In that section, I got a free gray warhorse that was the same size, maybe even bigger than that big black one, which was pretty cool. I wrote that for him.
I wish I would have kept that big black one.
The warhorses, they have very high health and stamina, but they are very slow. So that's sort of the drawback.
But and then I guess I had like a temporary horse or something, I guess is what it's called.
Yeah, so that's
found one and rode it.
Yeah, that's if you ride a horse that's not yours. It'll still follow you around, and it can show up at camp, and you can change that to your main horse if you take the saddle off of your other one. That's the thing.
I did that like 4 times. I took the saddle off my little one and put it on this guy, and then it was like, this is now your main horse. And then like I would go through like a cutscene and be like, get on your horse, and it's back to the little one. I was like, what's going on? I didn't like it. So I went back. I put the little one in the stable, and now I'm using Tennessee Walker.
I think that's the most common horse breed is the Tennessee Walker, or it might be the Kentucky. That's the type of horse.
Oh.
So you get to name it whatever you want, and you can do that at the stables.
Yeah, I could do that at the stable or something.
I'm currently riding a white Arabian horse that I had to travel all the way north to the mountains to find in the wild.
Ooh.
I looked up
I've
online.
seen that horse. I want him. Where did you find him?
Okay, so there is on the very northern section of the map. There's a lake called Lake Isabella.
Okay.
It takes a little while to get up there, but once you get up there, you have to travel around to the west side of the lake, and there should be a little outcrop of land, and you'll see it. This white horse. I think it's the best wild horse in the game. You can buy some in the post game from the stables that I think
Yeah,
are
I
a little
heard
bit
it's like
better.
in Blackwell for like $12.50.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So Lake Isabella on the west side.
And you have to be very careful. It's very easily spooked, so you have to approach it very slowly while crouching, and just calm it every chance you get. When it looks like it starts to freak out, you have to calm it and you have to stop moving. Because I made the mistake of walking too fast and scaring it off, and it disappeared, and I had to come back like 2 days later and try again.
Okay. All right, interesting. Is it like if you calm it and you like get up to it, can you just start riding it then, or is it like the first Red Dead where you had to like lasso it and then break it?
Yeah, so it's anytime you're taming a wild horse, you have to break it, which is not too terribly difficult. I think it's much more difficult just actually getting up and approaching the horse without scaring it off. That seems much more difficult to me than the actual breaking process, which is pretty straightforward. You just hop on, and I usually just try to jostle the stick in the opposite direction of whichever direction the horse is trying to go. And
Okay.
and
So
it's
it's kind of
like
like the first
30
first one
seconds.
in that sense.
Yeah, it's not too hard.
All right, cool. All right, well, so that's what I will be doing after we get done with this.
Yeah, it is very fast.
So, all right, that's all I really had for video games. You got anything else?
Now, did we want to talk about Smash Ultimate?
Oh, I mean, I don't know a whole ton about it. We can. I just saw that the last 3 fighters were announced for the new Smash Bros. I just thought it was funny that it's Ken, who makes sense, Ken from Street Fighter, Incineroar, which also makes sense. I mean, he's literally a wrestler, and then it's the potted plant.
Waluigi snubbed again in favor of
That's what it's called, right? Piranha Plant?
yeah, Piranha Plant from Mario.
Yeah, from Mario, and that is bonkers to me that they have the plant, but not like Waluigi.
Poor Waluigi getting snubbed again.
The whole internet is just in an uproar about it.
As they should be. Some very passionate Waluigi fans out there, and I feel your pain. Trust me, I do.
Oh yeah. All right. So yeah, I guess I'll look more into the Smash Bros stuff. I assume it's on Switch, and I don't have a Switch yet. But I do want to get one for the sole purpose of playing that and Zelda.
Yeah, I think I will probably wait a little bit longer to get a Switch until, as of right now, there are really only 2, maybe 3 games on Switch that I would buy.
Yeah, I'm willing to bet that they go on sale for like Black Friday. I would bet. So, yeah. So that's video games. Another fantastic segue here now. Movies. Actually, I meant to go see a couple movies in the month of October and just like never got to it. Movie tickets are part of a discretionary fund that I don't have access to right now. But there are 2 coming out. There's actually Bohemian Rhapsody like just came out. I think Friday. Maybe last week, but it just came out, and I really want to see that, the Queen movie, the Queen biopic.
Mm-hmm. It looks very good. That's with what's his name?
Yeah, the guy who was in Mr. Roboto, the TV show. Yeah, him. So that looks like a fantastic movie. Side note, it was in grad school where I learned that it's biopic and not biopic. So apparently the British call it a biopic, but in America apparently we're supposed to pronounce it biopic.
I think you pronounce it however your heart desires.
No. I think it's probably like the same as like the word gray. Like, how do you spell the word gray?
I spell it with an A.
That's basically what I was getting at. I was asking how you spell it.
I spell it with an A.
You spell it with an A. See, I can never make up my mind if I prefer seeing it with an E or an A. So I just spell it with a U.
Yeah, it seems like the only logical compromise there.
I think so. That sounds right to me. So, so yeah, I definitely I am promising to myself that I'm gonna go see Bohemian Rhapsody. Do you plan on seeing it, Adam? Do you plan on seeing Bohemian Rhapsody?
I do.
assume your family wants to go see it.
Yeah, they do. As far as I know, my mom loves going to the movies. We usually go see a couple together, every month or so. I haven't been to a lot recently, but yeah, that's definitely on the list.
Yeah. And then the other movie that I saw a trailer for it during football this afternoon is a new Robin Hood movie with what's it?
Taron Egerton. Taron Egerton. Yeah.
Who?
Taron Egerton.
Yeah, the kid from Kingsman. And this movie, like, first and foremost, it's going to be infinitely better than the Russell Crowe Robin Hood. I can just tell immediately that it's going to be better.
I mean, that's not a very high bar.
I know, but I think that's the most recent Robin Hood to come out. And it looks like it's going to be, I didn't see who was directing it, but it looks like it's going to have that good charm and wit that I think you would hope came in a Robin Hood movie. So, looking forward to it.
I don't know. I'm skeptical. I'm skeptical about this one. I hope it's good, but to me, from the trailer, it's reminding me a lot of that really terrible Guy Ritchie King Arthur movie that came out last year. What was it, King Arthur and the Legend of the Sword? Did you ever see that?
No.
Hot pile of garbage. Oh boy, let me tell you.
Let's see.
There are some passionate fans of that movie, but I could not stand it. It was very dark and trying to be edgy and sort of that weird amorphous, what time place is this supposed to be taking place in, and that the Robin Hood movie was giving me very similar vibes. I have no idea what the setting is supposed to be for that movie. I don't know when it's supposed to be taking place because I feel like parts of it look like very modern street sections of London, and yet everybody is riding on horses. So I have no idea.
Right. Well, I think something that might alleviate your problems or your issues with it, maybe. The guy directing the Robin Hood movie is Otto Bathurst. I'm not sure where the cut is in that name. But he has also directed a couple episodes of Peaky Blinders, and he directed the first episode of Black Mirror. So,
I mean,
he's done successful stuff.
That's interesting. I mean, that's one of my least favorite episodes of Black Mirror, but
well, that's just because it is a super weird concept, right? You're gonna start with the prime minister porking a pig.
Yeah, it seemed like a very strange way to open that show. I feel like the next two episodes of season 1 would have been much better ways to open. But yeah,
that's fair.
Yeah, I don't know. I may or may not see that Robin Hood movie. I don't know. I hope it does well. I hope it is exciting.
Let's see
and
who
it's
else is in this Robin Hood movie.
It's the new Kingsman in Nottingham Forest, but we'll see.
Let's see. I'm trying to find. All right, cast. So Taron Egerton,
Jamie Foxx, right? Yeah.
He's Little John. Ben Mendelsohn. Yeah, Ben Mendelsohn is the sheriff of Nottingham. He was. Let's see. Oh, he's been in a lot of movies. He was Orson Krennic in Rogue One. Let's see what else we got. Any big names that immediately stand out? No, not a whole lot, but I think Taron is charismatic enough to at least make the movie watchable. So we'll see. But I have good hopes for it. I don't have high hopes. I have good hopes, if that makes sense.
I think I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Like you want it to do
I'm not
well.
necessarily expecting it to be like an Oscar winner, but I'm expecting to go in and enjoy what I see.
You know, a popcorn movie.
Yeah, and I love popcorn. So, and now, actually, I think we're doing right well with our timing. So we'll jump into our final topic. Like I said, it won't always be uh, movies and video games and sports. We will be talking specifically about music. And this, Adam and I, we agree on most things in life. It's one of the reasons we're really good friends. We are compatible with our thought processes. But this is one where we will never see eye to eye. And so this is the appropriate time to start playing Christmas music. I am in the camp that as soon as Halloween is over, it is officially the Christmas season. And being the Christmas season means that it's okay to play Christmas music.
I am in the correct camp, which says that Christmas music is reserved for December or at the earliest after Thanksgiving, because you are essentially you are erasing Thanksgiving from existence when you start to play Christmas music on November 1st, and it is disrespectful, and it is outrageous to me that you would be audacious enough to try to do that. How dare you? How dare you, sir?
See, I think it's totally fair that once Halloween is over, and we don't even have to call it the Christmas season. I can go away from saying the Christmas season and call it the season of giving, which I think encompasses both, right? The season of giving, I think, fairly encompasses both Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Okay, well,
And
how many
therefore, because it
Thanksgiving
encompasses both,
songs are you
now it
listening
gives me
to?
permission to play my Christmas music.
How many Thanksgiving songs are you listening to in the season of giving?
How many Thanksgiving songs can you name?
There are none. Which is why
Exactly.
you
There are
don't need
none,
to
which
be
means
playing.
I'm stuck with only Christmas music to play.
No, you're not. You can listen to literally anything else until
Well,
after Thanksgiving.
It's the season. I'm in the seasonal spirit.
No. 2 months is entirely too long to be listening to any one genre of music, but especially one as narrow as Christmas music, which has maybe 15 songs.
All right. Well, Adam, I think that you're just a Grinch and you hate Christmas.
Okay, see, that is a logical fallacy. Your arguments do not support your conclusion.
Fine.
Because I love Christmas.
Let's see how many songs
which is
are
why
in
I don't want to
my
oversaturate
Christmas playlist.
myself with Christmas music.
I have 49 songs in my Christmas playlist, and let's see how many of them are repeats just from different bands or groups. Let's see. Let's see, that's one. So I have two versions of The Little Drummer Boy. I have two versions of Mary Did You Know. I have two versions of O Come All Ye Faithful. I think. Maybe not.
Again, they're all the same songs, and
Yeah,
everyone just recycles them every year and comes out with the Christmas album because it's easy money.
I guess I have two versions of Mr. Grinch. But I think you're missing out on the joys of Christmas music. I think it's appropriate to listen to Christmas music whenever, because the Christmas spirit should never die, Adam.
And what is that? What is the Christmas spirit?
You know, fun music and ornaments. Obviously.
Is that it?
I didn't see you complaining when we had our Christmas tree up for a year and a half.
Well, that's because nobody wanted to take it down.
Well,
and it was purple,
part.
Right? So it wasn't, exclusive to just Christmas. It was the Go Frogs tree.
Yeah. That's true, and it was nice. Like, if we didn't want like the full lights on, we could turn that on and have like a little bit of light going. But anywho, so if you're listening to this, which I hope there's at least someone listening to this that's not our parents. Hi, Mom and Dad. give us your thoughts on when you believe is the correct time to start listening to Christmas music.
Unless your opinion is that it is after October 31st, because then you are incorrect.
Well, Adam, we're both of the opinion that it's after October 31st when it's appropriate to start. You're just thinking it's after that. So, just pointing that out there. It is after October 31st when you can start listening.
I don't have a rebuttal to that.
I think I won. Point Kevin. But yeah, so give us your thoughts on that, because we definitely love to hear that, and it would validate that at least someone listened to this. So, yeah, it was I guess we'll wrap it up. We're coming up on an hour now. So that was the first episode, the inaugural of hopefully many more to come, of the Triple Play podcast. We will try to get, I guess we can call them guests. They're friends of ours, but guests on the pod with us. I know I have a couple friends that would be interested in joining us and talking. So keep an eye out for that. I'll be starting a Twitter account for the Triple Play podcast at some point. But for now, you can follow me on Twitter or Instagram at the username is KDPeters99. Adam, you want to give them yours?
My Twitter handle is the same as my handle for everything else, which is Adam K. Kelly. Again, that's Kelly with an E-Y.
Yeah, Kelley. Adam, he likes words and letters so much that he just put an extra one in his name. So
that's how we do it.
Yep, that's how we roll. So thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Gal Gadot, if you're listening, we'd love to have you on the show.
So.